Thank you, and thank you inviting me. I have a written speech, but I had the opportunity to reflect some ideas before we started with the host, so I will leave my written speech and then go to the point that I'm pretty much sure you are almost all here professionals, are you? Following the issues, so I don't need to repeat what was the great opening words already. So, what have we learned from the last term? EPP did energy performance in the buildings directive negotiations and the challenges, and why it is a good timely time for this seminar is that we couldn't do everything that we wished as normal political process, but also Commission has now proposed the Green Deal, which also says that this one will be opened. And it's quite logic. Last time we targeted that 2030 should be minus 40% of the emissions compared to the year 1990, and now it's increased to the 50, and the Parliament is really clearly willing to have it 55. Commission says in between 50-55. So then if we are, and we are serious policy makers, if we increase the target, the ambition, we need to do the things better. Not the old calculation, what was aiming to 40, but what will aim to the 55. Knowing the fact, what was mentioned here, that it is 36% from the building sector that we need to do something, and it is too slow to wait 400 years in some countries where the only renovation rate is 0.4, and maximum case if it's 1%, it takes 100 years to have the existing stock as nearly zero or good performance buildings. So there is role for the renovations to be done. Then what could help us to double or 3 times more the speed up the renovation? I think we have knowledge, but do we have money? And then if we have money, do we have enough money? Or is it then only that one part, like modern, nice looking is the reason, or could it be then that it's easier also to do it on the way that helps also the climate goals? My political group S&D, we wanted to talk a lot about energy poverty, and then wanted to encourage also the citizens and regions and the national actors also to take in account that this will be put on the language that improves quality of living. So even if you are living in the bad isolation, bad energy performance house, renovating also means the improve quality of living. So that was one important fact for us also, that the energy poverty means actually that the poor pays more because they have a worse kind of a house. So it may not be luxury to have a good performance in the buildings. I've done national politics 11 years before the last term I came here, and it's not easy to plan the kind of support scheme for solar panels or isolation or whatever, because it goes for the house in nearby Helsinki worth of 2 million. Then you have a support scheme to put something on the solar panels. But how that 10,000 solar panel help or 5,000 would help to someone who has the apartment of 35,000 in Lapland. So all these problems comes when we talk about the renovation or installation of the new energy. So, but then from the financing, it is very good that Europe financed now this kind of project as yours. I come back to that one. I was very happy to learn that, I don't know how common is it in different European countries, but then in Finland I found the banks that they give the lower rate for your interest if you have the better energy performance or if you renovate. So that was kind of the little trick the banks could also do. And then I'm a fan of the schemes that you pay in advance, or you pay for the energy company that you pay flat rate for 5 years, but they will they will have keys on hand to provide the better energy performance, and then they will keep the difference of the energy price. And then, so as a consumer, you pay 10 years flat energy price, but then actually they renovate, they buy you new equipment, and then the difference will be paid for them, and after 10 years you pay lower rate, and then everybody is win-win situation. So, and then also I know the big project in nearby Ile-de-France that EIB financed also the renovations of the 20,000 houses. So yes, this kind of finance is needed. But then we were trying to find also ideas that how could we more easily get private money to come to the sector, which is of course needed. So one is that standardization of certain kind of renovations. And that's also the difficulty then, especially when it's the house owner who lives there and sees the reality. How is it before and after? Is it automatically by this equipment you will cut 15%? It helps the financing, it helps maybe the business to sell, but is it then a real life situation? Because at least when it's the normal housing, it is very important for people also to notice they live there 24/7, they own the house, they are the user of the house. So then this is the language needs to be put good in place. So one other factor that I also was mentioned here and is part of your project is this indoor healthy climate is very important and close to my heart also. What could we do as a legislators? It was only the checkings of the ventilators was one initiative we put in the EPPD, but then there are many other things, and then especially also when building, when renovating, how to avoid the mold to be then an indoor problem. It is a huge problem in Finland, has been a huge debate for a long time. Schools were closed, hospitals were closed because people could not work there, could not live there. Eternal fight that if there is 1 or 2 sick students, is it the mold causes that, or is there some other reasons? So I really learned about the dew point and everything on the balconies and how to avoid the mold and after the renovation. So I know it's not easy. A question, but this should be taken seriously on board when in designing phase also that, and also it's the reputation. Some people are afraid that when you isolate the house that you will make a vacuum that not the person, not the house breathes, and so there are. I'm very happy that it's mentioned also, and so this is not only energy performance; it is something else as well. So. On this EPPD, we are waiting, of course, the big picture, the national renovation plans. We had kind of thinking last time that it's difficult to put one-size stockings for every country. So then there was this idea that 10-year plans per country will be the tool also that how they will do. But then as we know that not everything is different. We do have the share market, we do have the same equipment, we happen to have a different climate, and we happen to have different energy systems. But that's always the question of how much to put the same standards and same rules, and how much national variation is allowed. So on this one, I think it is very important and good project that ALDREN will have the hands-on experiment. What could it be, the standardization? How much could we do before that it is the compulsory standard, and then the worries occur later. So from going then, the one final aspect from my point is that when it's the house, when it's the block, and when it's the neighborhood. If we really look at the targets that we should get the climate results, sometimes it and also how to get private money to fund it. So sometimes I think looking only house per house or apartment is only part of the solution. So it could be the neighborhood, then it's the bigger scale, and then it's also maybe more efficient per unit on the economical way. And then also, especially when a new regions to be designed, you can make the nearly zero neighborhood, taking everything on board. And I think this is also the way we want to act the climate change in the new Green Deal. It is not only the personal choices or only on your shoulders alone, but it could be the systemic change. And so then we know also in this one we should also look for the systemic solutions. So wish good luck for this verification, voluntary in the beginning, and then maybe good food for thoughts and concrete steps for future regulations to go forward on this sector. I believe that it will have a big role in the years to come, and then also in our legislative table. So yes, I mentioned the Green Deal will open it again, that we know for sure, the EBPD, but then also I can inform you that ITRE, this House Committee for the Energy Industry, Digitalization and Research and Space, if you're keen on to live there or build there, we decided to make an own initiative report called Maximizing the Energy Efficiency Potential of the EU Building Stock. So then this is the way the Parliament wants to have our own ideas to guide the future Commission work. It will be the Green Rapporteur, don't know yet who will it be, and then shadows from the different group. Don't know if I want to go back to the business or not. So I'm very happy to stay here for at least half an hour, but cannot unfortunately stay for the whole seminar. But thank you for the invitation and sharing this experience with me.